Show you how to pull data from your GSPOC registration form. We're going to start at the main page, your home page, and I'm going to, you ordinarily obviously go to your GSPOC registration form. I'm going to my projects, and I'm actually going to access, that's the three dots project, sorry. I'm going to access a dummy one that I made. This one's fake. And that way I can maintain student privacy and show you how this works. So I'm going to open up this project. And this one isn't quite complete, it's just kind of a fake one. And I'm going to go to this data and analysis tab. And you can see I got a whole lot of Latin in here, and that's intentional. These are fake responses. There's a system within Qualtrics that allows you to test, and so I ran, I think, 20 iterations of this to test to see how it would work. And there's a lot of different ways you can look at the data here and manipulate it. One of the easiest is you can just click on a response, and it's going to show you the exact thing that your user saw. So this is exactly the same stuff that my user saw and typed in. If it's grayed out, that means it wasn't shown to the person for one reason or another. There's all sorts of reasons why. Maybe it didn't route that direction. It will show you signatures if there are real signatures. There's not, because a computer filled this out. And you can actually export this as a PDF. So I know some of you really like the paper-based and you want to have that paper copy of it. You can export to a PDF, and then you can name it something different. It's given a name to protect privacy, but you can name it with the kid's name and export it however you want. And you can see I already had one earlier. I did a demo. It does take a little bit of time because this is a rather lengthy survey. But let's say I want to open up and see. It's just going to show me, this is 11 pages, but it's going to show me exactly what was typed in and what was clicked and what was not shown. And then you can go to the very bottom of this, and it's going to show you a summary of all the data that was put in, even where the person filled it out. So that's the PDF version. You also have some pretty nifty information right here, and you can add and move these columns if you want to by clicking on the blue plus signs. So part of how this works is it's going to pull a lot of data from Focus, and I tried my best to align the data from Focus headers with the same names as the stuff that students who aren't in the district submit, and so it should generally be correct. But if you want to click on one of these plus signs, you're going to see all of these are the questions. There's a ton of stuff in here that it's asking for. And I tried to make the names make some sense so that you can just kind of pull them in. But I also put in here in this embedded data, all of these are going to be some really quick and easy things that you can pull in. So you can't really hurt anything just by viewing it, right? You can go in here, and let's say you want to put in student gender, you can add that to it. You want to put in student city, stuff like that. If you want to remove them, click them and hide the column. You can move the column left or right pretty easily. And there is going to be some overlap here. So for example, student address right here is going to be the same thing as address right here. It's going to show you the same information, and that's because some of it's a focus field and some of it's merged together. But it kind of depends on how you want to pull this information and how you want to manipulate it. But you can very easily pull this stuff in into this grid view, and then you can actually filter by this and sort by this. So sort A to Z, last name, first name, all that sort of thing in here, sort by birthday, whatever. And then you can go left and right and you can see all that in here. So let's say that this kid with the crazy Latin last name calls you and says, oh my gosh, I filled out the form, I'm so sorry, I put my mom's last name, I should have put my dad's last name because that's on my birth certificate, and so what do I do, can you let me do it again? And you can say, you know what, it's pretty easy to fix on my end. So you found the kid, and you're like, okay, cool, so I'm going to click on the edit button, and I can go in here, and I can just edit. So now it's going to be Smith. Click out of the cell, it's fixed. It does take time to update these things because this is a big stinking database, but make sure you uncheck the edit button, and then it's gonna fix that for you within the system. It's gonna modify that. You can see down here, I changed this one and it gave me this little gray corner, which means that someone came in and edited that information. So that's pretty helpful. It's going to tell you, yeah, you fixed it, you changed it, whatever else, but it's going to provide that information to you. You can see all the different stuff here. Some other options for you. On the far right hand side, drop down on actions. You can view the response. I wouldn't worry about retaking it. You might want to delete. Let's say a kid calls and says, you know, I filled it out entirely wrong, or we put it in for the wrong kid. I have twins and one of them's going to the wrong school. You can delete the response very easily. And no problem there. I mean, understand you're deleting a response, so it's going to be gone, but that's how you would do that. You can also do some exporting and some filtering in here. So you can play around with filters. You can filter out, for example, you want only in-district students. That's doable. You can filter just for out-of-district students, right? All that's doable. I'll let you play around. You can't hurt anything in the filtering. This is just filtering by certain things. Filter all the kids who said they live in Utah, whatever else, obviously with mistakes. You can kind of view things with different layouts. So you can do an out-of-district layout that you want to create. You can do an in-district layout as you want to create. You can do a transportation layout, however you want to do it. You just save it, right? You can delete everything. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's totally possible. All sorts of stuff that you can do in here. But let's say we want to get out of this. Let's say we want to get this stuff into Excel. That's where we all shine, right? So a couple different options. You can click on the export, import, and don't import anything, but go to the export data, and you have all of these different options. User submitted files, that's kind of you're going to get, you can get this, the signatures through there. It's a bit wonky, but you can. You probably care most about Excel, and there are a couple different ways. If you click on download all fields, it will download all of the fields. That's every single shred of information that the survey pulled in, whether it was metadata or not. It's going to pull in absolutely everything. If you uncheck download all fields, it's just going to download the fields that are right here in the background. So maybe you just want this information. Maybe you're one of those Excel people that wants absolutely every shred, up to you. But that's how it's going to work. Options, it can tell you all sorts of things down here, play around. You cannot break anything by downloading it. The only way you can break anything in this view is either by editing it and changing it incorrectly or by deleting it. So let's say we're going to download it. You're going to click on download. It's going to generate that Excel file. It will take a while because, again, it's a big file. I guess it was faster than I thought. More often than not, it's going to create a zip file, and then it's going to be on your computer. You can open it up as you wish. Now remember, that's a dead document. That's not linked to the original anymore. This is live updating, and so you're going to have to just keep track of it, or maybe you want to set a filter for only stuff that's in the last however long. They're all going to be date stamped and time stamped for you. So that's how you pull information from Qualtrics, and you can see it gives you a ton of options, lots of different data that you can pull. So there you go.